And this begins the round 1 of the PACE tournament. Martenus versus Metabot. And we've got Martenus in the orange, and we've got Metabot in the green. Good luck, have funds go out, and they are both starting their builds. Martenus here in the orange has started with 3 metal extractors before even starting a single power plant, and 2 extractors and a power plant for Metabot. If you're not familiar with the Planetary Annihilation game, this is a real-time strategy game about robot champions who fight each other in a war, and it involves a streaming economy, which means that you gather metal or you harvest energy from the energy plants in order to take care of your economy, and those are represented here with their current income under this metal area and this energy area, and you use those resources to plan out what you're going to build. In this case, Metabot has started with a bot factory. There are 3 basic factories: the bot, the vehicle, and the air factories, and they produce different types of units. The bot factory produces more mobile units that are more fragile. The vehicle factory produces tanks that are tougher but a little slower, and the air factory obviously produces air such as planes, scouts, aerial scouts, and things like that. Martenus has built some ground scouts, little buggies that are driving around looking for his opponents. Neither player has discovered the other one yet. Now, with the streaming economy that you have in Planetary Annihilation, you plan out what you want to build, and you don't have to pay for it up front. You just say, I want to build this, and as income comes in, you continue to work on all of the things that your builders have decided they wanted to build. Builders in this game in general are called fabricators, and you can see that this fabricator is converting the supply of metal into a building by using energy. So that's kind of how the things cost metal to build, and it takes energy to convert metal from its built state into a building. Now there's a possibility that this scout is going to come in and find Metabot, and I think he saw this bot come out, which gave him kind of an indication of where he might be. And if we just look at the perspective of Martenus here, we can see that he has vision of Metabot down here, and he knows what's up. Meanwhile, Metabot can see him on radar, but doesn't know exactly what kind of unit that is, though he may be able to guess if he saw him with that other guy earlier. Going back to full vision, we can see there's an exploration going on here by these fabrication bots. They'd like to come out here, and you can see that they have these buildings planned to go and make it so that they can harvest the metal from each of these metal points, which are represented by the metal on the ground and the green dots. A little bit of a scout coming in here. The fabricators can reclaim units and buildings into metal that is part of the storage, and use that metal to rebuild other things. And since the scouts are not very tough, these bots were able to reclaim that scout and before they were really killed. So Metabot is using these fighting bots. This is a dox to do his scouting, which means that when he finds something, he's more likely to win a conflict. So here in the Commander of March round 1, we have an early advanced bot factory going down for Metabot. Advanced factories allow you to build both advanced fabricators, which build a stronger unit, stronger buildings, and better economic buildings. A basic energy plant like the ones this commander is building here produce 600 energy per second, but a basic advanced energy plant that you can produce out of here produces 5,000 energy per second, so that's quite a bit more. Similarly, basic metal extractors produce 7 metal per second for each one, and advanced ones produce 35. And you can put both of those on a metal extraction point and get 35 or 42 as a result. Now, Advanced Vehicle Factory is being placed by and worked on by 4 fabricators here in the base of Martenus. And one of the things that's interesting about Planetary Annihilation is that you can put multiple workers to help each other on one factory. And in this case, the bombers of Metabot have come in and destroyed a couple of the workers that were building here for Martinus, and that's actually a pretty big blow. Those workers cost several hundred metal. I think it's 450, and to have a couple of them taken out early is a pretty big blow. So he'll have to rebuild some of those guys, and you can see he's building another fabricator here, and this fabricator is helping the factory produce it faster because that represents his basic ability to expand. Looks like there might be a little bit of an energy crisis over here, or brewing. Nope, they both still have 100% efficiency, but the bots here have been all tasked to build a lot of energy. And the advanced bot factory for Metabot is still taking quite a bit of time here. It's only about a quarter done, and he now has 4 fabricators just starting to work on it. Up here, Martinus's advanced factory is halfway done, and the one who reaches tier 2 may get a little boost in success or efficiency. Now, if we look down here again, he added the commander. The commander has the production ability of 3 fabricators. Each one of these produces, as you can see in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, 10 metal per second towards the production of that building, and the commander produces, looks like it's minus 20, but it's actually 30 that he uses because he inherently builds 10 metal per second just for being a commander, like a metal extractor. So there's a lot of build power on this going on this, and in fact it's now about 80% done, whereas this one is in fact already done, and he's producing his first fabricator from that. So you can see that Martinus has 97 units to the 80 units of Metabot. It's not necessarily, and those units represent both ground units, buildings, and flying units. So in this case, he's got a standing army of several fighters, and those fighters are generally cheaper than some of the bombers that we know Metabot has produced. So it's not necessarily a strict comparison, but is a good indicator. Another indicator is actually the army metal. That's how much metal has been put into units that are still living, and those units still include buildings and units and those sorts of things. Now in this case, Martinus has quite a lead in terms of metal. Now the commander himself takes 25,000, so that is kind of a default a bit of it, and you can see he's moving down here with his air force, clearing out the air force of Metabot and starting to build some factories down here for an advanced proxy base. He's also, oh I'm sorry, that's actually a Metabot, so that's not a proxy base other than the fact that it extends his borders towards the territory of Martinus. Martinus is doing a good job of expanding back here. He actually does have a proxy base over in this area where he has seen that there's a lot of metal in this area, and he wants to not just take it for income, but also build units to defend it. If we look at the expansion of Metabot, he's done a good job of getting some metal extractors out in this direction, but overall, look at the income difference between the two of them. Martinus has over twice the income of Metabot, and that's probably due to the expansion that he's done in territory space, and the fact that he started to put down some advanced economic structures. So here are some advanced energy plants compared to the energy plants of tier 1. Now again, you need a advanced fabricator to start building one of these advanced structures, but the basic tier 1 fabricators can help with those structures once they're started. In fact, the advanced fabricator can leave the production of that building once the plans are in place. Tier 2 air going down. Tier 2 air is very effective. It has gunships, stronger fighters, stronger bombers that can do carpet bombing and transports. Now these tier 2 vehicles here are the vanguards, and they're very tough compared to many of the other. They're probably the toughest unit in the game other than the commander himself. And with these buildings, with these vanguards in place and the distance they would have to travel to get to the base, it would not surprise me if a couple transports came out from this air factory to help move them over. But it looks like right now he's just building fighters. Nuclear missile going down here. Actually, it's been this missile factory has been constructing for a little while here, and we can see that's going to get completed very quickly. Now the missile itself still has to be created inside that spot, but and that will take some time. So he'll need to retask these units to finish the missile. So here's the overall planet view and the picture-in-picture, so we can kind of see when things are happening, and we can see that there's some vanguards working their way into the base. These guys have very short range, but once they get in range, they actually do a tremendous amount of damage. You'll see the flames come out. This is a very strong turret, but with that tank getting to it, it just disappears very quickly. So this is likely to cause a lot of damage. Now these tier 2, I saw the shots of the tier 2 bots over here. They have the range, so they can pick these guys off and just kite them around. So they're going to clean this up, but it just takes a while to kill these tough vanguards, and you can see the kind of damage, how quickly they take out some of these structures once they get close to them. Even these vanguards can even fight a commander to a certain degree. So he's focusing on economic structures, the fabricators. That invasion is done. But in the meantime, a new set of invasions coming in, and it does look like he has created some transports to bring those vanguards in. As you see, the vanguards are here. He's running those in now. This looks very dangerous for the commander. I really think he needs to be kiting and backing off from here. He's got a lot of tier 2 firepower here with these slammers and the ghillies to fight, but you can see that the commander's health went down very quickly. He's now at a third of the health, and it takes a lot of metal to repair a commander. So that was a very successful invasion by Martenus, and you can see the metal out in the world is still much strongly in his favor. The unit count, he has almost double his unit count, and the income that he has, particularly in metal, is 513 compared to Metabot's 170. So that's just a tremendous amount of economic advantage for Martenus. So nuclear factory being created by metabot, and we can look over at the nuclear factory or the nuclear missile silo for Martenus and see that it is almost done. I think that once this nuke is done, he'll just let it fly right away, and he'll be able to take it. Actually, if he hits the commander, he'll be able to take it out right away, because the commander, while they can withstand a nuclear blast, it's really only one. And actually, these vanguards are really putting a cramp on the economic capabilities of. And I think they're gonna take out this commander. You can see, yep, there it goes, and that is going to be game 1 for Martenus winning versus Metabot, and a nuke comes in, the aftermath, finishing up, coming in, destroys his own units. It's terrible, but the game was already won by the invasion of those vanguards. So good game by Martenus. I'll be back in a little bit, and to cover round 2, I'll take it offline to figure out what the final pairings are for round 2, and see who I'm going to be covering in that one. I'll see you guys soon.